Left him, she found a new place to go. It's down at the end of Jabroni Drive at Smackdown Hotel.
What are you doing?
It doesn't matter what I'm doing, because we're here for the Wrestling Revolution. Episode number 8. 8. Yeah, we're on 8. 8 whole episodes. You know what's happened 8 times? Chris Jericho, 8-time Intercontinental Champion. Brother.
Actually, it's 10 times.
Really?
10.
Shit, I thought it was 8. Well, when did we see? Not. Oh well. All right, 1-0 Wade. Yep, it's Jarrett Judy, Wade's guy, your host with the most. You know, doing big stuff, doing big things here on the Wrestling Revolution. Speaking of big things, I don't know if you guys watched Ultimate Fighter. Ultimate finale this past Saturday night. It was a decent card. Kimbo Slice and who did he fight again?
Houston
Alexander. The guy who decided to circle around the octagon.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring.
Kimbo.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring fight. But in the second round, by the way, the match went
2-8 decision.
All 3 rounds, but Kimbo Slice won in a unanimous decision. But in the second round, Kimbo Slice really worked him over. You know, he established his ground game. He did a sweet German suplex, almost knocked him out. It was incredible.
Kimbo Slice has a ground game.
He does.
I never thought the words Kimbo Slice had a ground game.
Exactly.
But bigger news: Roy Big Country. What's the last name?
I don't remember.
Big fat guy. Is the Ultimate Fighter. He has an Ultimate Fighter contract. That guy's a big dude.
He is.
And he wants to take on the best in the world because he's a wrestler. But I mean, let's be honest. Can that guy take on the next big thing, Brock Lesnar?
I don't think so.
Technically, isn't he the big thing now? Instead of the next big thing?
Yes.
He's the champ. Bigger news than that from UFC. Ultimate Fighter. Pardon me, I'm a little sick, a little ill. The last week's wrestling made me a little ill. But Hulkamania ran wild on UFC, and now it is
Joe Mania.
Brother.
Joe Rogan.
But here is the news. January 4th, set your DVRs. 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Spike TV, a 3-hour live special of TNA Impact. And you know what's funny about January 4th? That's a Monday night.
Yes, that's right. I smell Monday Night Wars round 2.
No, I just farted. That's what you smell. But anyway, we are going to see the Monday Night Wars Part 2. Set your DVRs. You're going to have to flip through back. Yeah, channel surf again. Now, and remember, Impact's going live.
I've been waiting for that for 7 years.
This is going to be a monument. And the bigger news on that, there's bigger news. On Monday night, Hulkamania will be in the Impact Zone January the 4th, 2010. The Impact debut of Hulk Hogan, the much-awaited and anticipated Hulk Hogan debut.
That's right.
And speaking of TNA, let's talk about last Thursday night's Impact. Mick Foley's continuous chaos and stress over Hulk Hogan continues as Kevin Nash really just twists Foley around.
Yeah, he's wrapping him around his finger. You know, Mick Foley's really, he's going off the deep end. He's at the end of his rope. You know, he's just, And
think about it. There's still going to be a match of Final Resolution, Abyss and Foley against Raven and Dr. Stevie. Is Mick Foley overlooking 2 of the most hardcore wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling?
I think he is. I think he needs to set his mind on Final Resolution. And
speaking of Final Resolution, try to catch you off there. It's going to be a 3 Degrees of Pain match inside 6 Sides of Steel. Desmond Wolfe 1-on-1 with Kurt Angle return match.
That's right, JR. Now the first pinfall, well,
first fall.
The first fall is a pinfall. The second fall is a submission, and the third fall, if needed, the only way to win is to climb over the cage. And I'm really looking forward to this one.
Gonna be an intense matchup. Speaking of, let's run down the current Final Resolution card while we're here. Bobby Lashley 1-on-1 with Scott Steiner, last man standing.
I don't know. I think this could, really put Bobby Lashley up there if he wins, and I think he will.
And then it's the Feast or Fired matchup. 3 championship title shots hang in the balance, and then the 4th briefcase holds the pink slip. This match will change TNA one way or another. And then the big one, the World's Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles defends against former friend Daniels.
That's right. These 2 former best friends going head-to-head, and, this is going to be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. I think AJ will pull out the win.
For the W. Good old AJ Styles. Let's move on to Superstars this past Thursday night on WGN America. And you know what? While we're here at Superstars, we might as well stop at our match of the week. There wasn't a lot to choose from this week of good matches, but Dolph Ziggler and Matt Hardy. A very good contest.
That's right.
And Ziggler went to the backslide, which is something you don't see, as a winning move anymore. Maybe going back to that technical game.
Yeah.
Bringing back some of the traditions. Friday Night Smackdown was next on the list. And the continuing saga of R-Truth and CM Punk with, what's his name? Festus, what's his name? What's his name now?
I don't remember.
It starts with a J, whatever he is.
I wasn't paying attention because
You're beautiful.
don't care.
And then what else happened on SmackDown? Taker and Batista going to be a chair match. We'll get that later. You want to Raw, you think? Because SmackDown really wasn't that entertaining. Eric Escobar dumping Vicky, but maybe a face push for Eric Escobar? Really? You never know.
Anyway, Monday Night Raw with guest host Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, my favorite NBA team.
You're a huge Dallas fan.
Well, only the Cowboys and the Mavericks.
How about the return of Carlito to action? It's been months since we've seen Carlito in the ring.
Yeah.
Taking on WWE champion John Cena.
I was really hoping Carlito could at least, make himself look
At
good.
least spit an apple or two.
I mean, the match lasted like 3 seconds, so, John Cena obviously gets the win, and it was a disappointment. Could have been a good match with Carlito, but...
They've had good matches in the past. What about Hornswoggle getting, his own T-shirt?
I don't like it. It's gimmick infringement.
It's on sale at WWEshop.com. Well, whatever. I hit it. That DX does it. Can't I just sell stuff? Anyway, let's go on. The Celtic Warrior Sheamus says another message to WWE Champion John Cena by sending Mark Cuban through a table.
Oh, yeah, that was, I was pretty surprised, but it was a pretty good effect there. I think Mark Cuban took that one like a champ.
That clip was replayed on SportsCenter, outside the lines, everything the next couple of days. Jim Rona's Burning had it on a couple of days ago. So, WWE making big headlines again.
Yeah.
And what about the Kofi Kingston Randy Orton contest? Controversial finish, not finis, with Mark Cuban, the special referee, fast counting Randy Orton.
Yeah, I've been looking forward for these two to go one-on-one in a clean match for a really long time, and while this wasn't necessarily a clean match because of Mark Cuban, I think still it was, it was an alright match.
And then ECW on Sci-Fi this past Tuesday, the very impressive Trent Beretta and Caleb Cole continue to win.
That's right, these two keep continuing to make a name for themselves on ECW. They're rising stars. I hope that one day they will be the unified tag team champions. Big
6-man tag team main event as well. It was Yoshitatsu, the gold standard Shelton Benjamin, and ECW champion Christian against Regal's goons. It's William Regal, Vladimir Kozlov, and Ezekiel Jackson. The continuing conflict between Jackson and Kozlov, they're still butting heads.
Yeah, they're still butting heads, and while I'm not a big fan of the two of them, I like to see them competing against each other. It gives them something to do other than, beating off backstage or something.
And think about it, William Regal, his control over ECW could be slipping away with his two bodyguards. And what about on Superstars this past Thursday? I know I'm off topic again. We're going back in time, but it's ECW news. The Hurricane wins this match on Superstars, and then a masked man who looks very familiar to when Paul Burchill appears. Could it be, is this how Burchill gets back on ECW, or is there just another guy who looks like Paul Burchill in the mix?
It could be his twin brother Steve Burchill. You never know.
Steve died in a car crash. Speaking of past wrestlers, this portion of the show, Wrestling Revolution, we'd like to send our condolences out to the Eddie Fatu family. Umaga, the former Intercontinental Champion. If we had a bell, we'd give a 10-bell salute. But, it's a shame because Umaga was actually set for possibly a TNA debut. He wrestled in the Hulkamania tour in Australia. One of the best super heavyweights, we've had in quite some time.
Yeah. What can you say? I mean, pretty agile for a big guy, All
right, folks. This is about wraps up the first part of the video. Coming up, we got another list for you. Top 10 cruiserweights in history. The debate still coming up. And we're going to bring TLC predictions. We're going to the extreme right next on the Wrestling Revolution.
That's right. So be sure to watch the next episode. If you don't, I'll find you.
He'll eat you. He's Sheamus. Celtic Warrior, remember.